Hello and welcome to episode 9 of We Apologise for What You're About to Hear. It is a conversational podcast with two best friends talking absolute nonsense. My name's Dani.
And I am Adele.
And we made it to episode 9.
We have indeed. We've got there. And I hear a rumour that you've been making theme
I've
tunes.
been crafting in this week we've had off before we film this. I know it's 2 weeks for everyone else, but it's a week for us. So It was said last week about a theme tune. Mm-hmm. So I've had assistance with 2 and 1 I made on my own. Now they are...
Which I'm a bit salty about because it was meant to be our theme
You're a
tune.
hard lady to get hold
You've
of.
Completely left me out.
But what I'm thinking is, this can be for now until we can get together and make one between us.
I'm so sad.
Because it doesn't need to be this forever. We can change it. We can update it.
Yeah, but if people like it and then it gets it's a thing, it's like if suddenly, well, it did happen. Neighbours changed the theme tune. Nobody fucking liked it, you know?
Oh. I mean, I don't think they're that good that they're going to be permanent, is what I'm saying.
I mean, you never know.
Is what?
You never
okay.
know.
Well, you just wait, my little honey pie, because they're very, very silly. Now, if anyone thinks they're going to hear Musical Genius right now, in a way...
Well, they're not, because I'm not on it.
Exactly.
So.
In a way they aren't,
Yeah,
in a way they are,
know
though.
that.
So, okay. Let's go with the number 1. So these first 2 are players where I've had assistance.
Okay.
I'm not... I can't even... It's so stupid. Okay. Dubstep and number 1. Because...
Wow.
Okay. So if you can hear it loud enough.
This.
We've had some technical issues, but we are back now.
We are back.
We are back. So,
Ooh.
Adele, please.
She says choking on
You're
her.
listening to the dubstep one first. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Dubstep 1, headphone going in.
Okay.
I am eagerly anticipating this. Let's see if it'll actually play. Oh wow, this is...
Ladies and gentlemen,
This
what you're about to hear
something.
may be upsetting for some viewers.
I don't quite
We
know
apologise in advance.
make this. I mean, there you go. Wow.
Did you like the end?
I like the ending. I love the ending. The ending's amazing. Best part.
I've heard that vocal so many times over the past 3 days.
Do you know the problem with that is that we can't use the ending because that does not belong to me.
She said we can
It
have
belongs-
Ueki by Gumdrops.
Did she say we could have the geezer one? But someone else has already stolen part of the geezer one. So
Oh my god.
I know there was. I'll try and find the Instagram account because it is good. They did it well, and they only stole one line from us. So you know, what can I say?
What can
We
you
were
say?
mega famous in the 90s.
I know.
We weren't.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit wow. That's something. That is something. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
got nothing
number
else.
2, I think it's called Epic or something.
Okay.
That
I'm,
where Thingy speaks is that'll be your line.
oh, who's okay?
Eons
God,
ago, 2 women came
It's
together
intense, isn't it?
to create a podcast. This was a dreadful decision,
Face of fear.
but they went through with it anyway. And now
You're being
you,
so
dear
childish, to be
viewer, will
fair.
have to deal with the ramifications of their actions.
It's good.
Oh, lucky.
I like it for something else. I'd like it if it was for something else. I think it's a bit long. If it was for a TV show, like a full intro for a TV show, go for it.
Yeah.
For the podcast, no. I think we need something like less than 15 seconds.
The next one is Me on My Own. It's a bit more lighter, less dark and dour, should we say.
Okay.
I quite like this last
Okay.
one, if I do say so myself. Hello and welcome to We Apologise for What You're About to Hear. It is a conversational podcast with 2 best friends talking absolute nonsense. My name's Dani.
And I'm Adele. But you genuinely will sound bad no matter what you say.
I am medically lack of coordination.
Anyway, you don't want to know that about horses.
She's described this podcast as disgusting.
This is actually the best of them all.
Thank you. Thank you.
This one's the best one, Dani.
Yeah.
My musical genius has clearly rubbed off on you during this podcast.
I mean, I did not make that music. That music is copyright-free music. So.
Oh, okay. You see, it was the music that I was like, oh, this is really good.
No, I didn't do that.
Oh, okay, no, you can't take the credit for that then.
I just stuck them all.
Okay.
Stuck the bits together.
No, I was like, oh, the music's really nice. I feel like the music is right, but it's stolen.
No, it's copyright-free, so you're allowed to use it.
Doesn't mean it's not stolen.
Wow. Fair use.
I'm not saying like actual theft. It's like picking up a penny in the street. It wasn't yours, but it is now. You know, you didn't. Or like,
Can you
it
just?
was gifted. Let's put it that
I
way.
tried really hard.
I really liked the music because it was cute, but now I know you didn't write the music, and I'm sad.
Honey, what do you think I am? I did that in like 20 minutes. It was a panic one.
Oh, I mean, okay, see, because I was like hoping when we would get together that we would actually like write the music ourselves.
I mean, you can write the music. I have no musical talent whatsoever.
Okay. I mean, yeah, okay.
You could do that. Well, there they were. It was some hard work. That you look very unappreciative. You just don't look like you like none of them.
I appreciate the work that was put into it. Yeah, I appreciate the work that was put into it.
That's what you get, viewers, an audience or whatever.
Chamomile tea, anyone?
No.
Cool.
You worked dead hard on something, you try your bestest, and it's just shot down.
You stole the damn tune. That's not working dead hard. That's like just, oh yeah.
That's just my dreams. Well, I can't play an instrument. I have no musical talent. What do you want me to do? I gotta make a theme. I've tried my best. And if people want to vote...
That's why we were gonna get together and do it together.
Girl, you're a hard lady to get hold of. And we said we'd do it for this week. So...
I thought we said we would do it. I didn't think we said we'd do it for this week.
We did. Well, we will have another go then. Because Adele doesn't like anything I've made. So we'll have another go.
No. Well, to be honest, like, I like the ending of the dubstep one, but I don't think it's right. I don't feel like any of... Oh, how can I put this? The first two definitely didn't feel like it represented the podcast.
Stop my dream shit on here, but carry on.
You're very quiet. But it didn't feel like it was representative, and I feel like you're going to misdirect people by giving them a dubstep theme tune.
To be fair, they were very silly, and I didn't think we'd use them, but I had to make something.
I like listening to them, sort of. How I feel so bad because I know the effort was put into this.
A lot
I don't
of
want to be like
hours
that.
of, to be fair.
I don't think it was hours.
No.
Was it?
The first two.
Really?
The first two, I was in that loft.
Oh, bless that person for doing that, because that's a really sweet thing that they've done.
To be fair, it could have been done in half the time, but they like to...
They're a perfectionist,
yes.
and I appreciate that about them.
Yes.
And like I say, the dubstep one is funny. It is funny, especially, you know, but... And I love the fact that that person now has got that little jingle of mine in their head.
Mm.
I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And I want to say
as long as
thank
it's
you to them.
appreciated, that's fine. We can live with that.
But it doesn't mean that I liked them or thought they were representative of our podcast.
Well,
just because, no, it's like a kid coming up to you with a shitty painting doesn't mean you don't appreciate them doing it at school, but I don't mean it like...
Wow.
Well, no, but you know...
Have
like,
you ever heard of digging a
things
hole?
aren't
I
the
think you're digging a hole. Just keep...
Okay, but some things are not the right fit.
Fine.
Let's put it that way.
We'll agree they're not the right fit and we will try again.
It's not the right fit. That's all I'm saying. It's like when you go out, you buy a pair of shoes and someone else buys you a pair of shoes because they know you like that particular pair of shoes and they bought one similar and thinking it would make a great present, but it's not quite the right fit. Let's put it that way.
We'll try again then. We will endeavour again to try.
I can't help it. It's, you know.
Well, I like the last one. My favourite bit of the last one was just you going, you don't want to know that about horses? That really makes me chuckle every time.
I did like the last one. I felt that was more representative of us as a podcast.
Because I've stolen the music, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, you better write some music then, honey.
I don't need to write, it just comes to me.
All right, then you better have some music come to you then, honey, because we need something. We will maybe not next week. I don't think we can commit to next episode, but we will try to get it for an episode soon.
But the thing is, though, you don't play any instruments, which means it's going to have to be like a one-man band.
Yep.
Which I've always wanted to be. Cat keyboard,
but I can
flute,
be technical support. I can put it all together.
Yeah. So cat keyboard, get my recorder, get my fife. I need to rebuy a triangle because mine got ditched. Got given away.
I can be technical support.
Times.
Right, let's move on from this car crash then.
Yes, let's. I mean, it wasn't a car crash. It was enjoyable to listen to.
Just move away. I feel too sad now.
way.
Right, what's been floating your boat? Obviously not my themes. Go on.
No, not your themes. Definitely not. I've rediscovered Lucifer. I know it's another TV show, same as last time. It is another TV show. And it's another Amazon one. Thank God, finally, my Amazon Prime account is starting to pay off.
Oh, I thought it was on Netflix, but is it on Amazon?
No, well, episodes 1 to 3 are on Prime. The rest of them are on Netflix. It's a weird buyout situation. No, not episodes.
Oh, series. Yeah, sorry.
Series 1 to 3 are on. And so I used to watch it with my husband, and then my husband was a complete cunt. He was. It's okay. I can say that word. It's fine.
It's all good.
What? Not really. Well, it shouldn't matter. We can call people dicks, but we can't use cunt. Anyway, so yeah, he used to watch it without me, which is really nasty and mean and horrid when you're meant to be a couple. That's a sign your relationship's over. When the person watches ahead of you, it's a sign your relationship's doomed.
It's going downhill.
It is, definitely. Because he did it with Poirot and he did it with Miss Fisher's Mysteries as well. So anyway, got back into it and I bloody love it. And I miss having that sort of TV show to look forward to. I'm going to watch Stranger Things too soon. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get back into those things that little bastard watched ahead of me.
Oh, he was a repeat offender.
Oh God, yeah. Like I say, he did it with Poirot. He did it with Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. He did it with Lucifer, and he did it with Stranger Things. You know.
To be honest, I think
totally
after about season 2, you don't really need to thingy Stranger Things. But
I still want to watch it because I absolutely love Dart. I think Dart's like a little sweetie.
Which one's Dart now?
Dart's the alien thing that saves them all. Spoiler alert: saves them all in season 2.
Oh, is that what he called it? The little dog.
And he eats the cat. Dart eats the cat. It was really sad but funny.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so Lucifer is my thing. Tom Ellis is just brilliant.
Is that the guy that plays Lucifer?
Lucifer, yeah, he's a beautiful man. So is D.B. Woodhouse, and I think that helps a lot that they're both absolutely
Explain
gorgeous.
what the show is to people though who haven't seen it.
Okay, so I just feel like because it's such an old show, I forget that not everyone will have seen it. So it's basically Lucifer is Lucifer, the devil, and he has decided he got bored of hell, came to Earth, and decided what better place than Los Angeles to try and have a little bit of fun. And he gets himself embroiled in some sort of murder situation and starts becoming part of the investigation. And that's like basically how the whole series starts, is with him in this situation of having to prove himself innocent of murder, and within that he starts to build a relationship with humans around him, and it becomes more and more complex, and then members of his family end up coming to visit as well. It's quite good. I enjoy it. I like that kind of thing though. I was a big fan of Buffy. I loved the series Grimm. I don't know if anyone's, because that was a bit more obscure. So
I think
for
Asclub's
me,
seen Grimm because she always used to talk to me about
loved Grimm.
Was that was fairy tales, wasn't it? Like dark retelling.
So that was like basically not dark retellings. It was more like Once Upon a Time is very much a dark retelling of the fairy tales. Grimm was more about the things that have been in the fairy tales, not necessarily a retelling, but being real, actual things, and that there were these fairy tale creatures, and then there would be some good, some bad, and then there would be just like a random human or some random humans that were actually there to fight them. It was kind of like, it's a terrible explanation, but it was kind of like that. And it was all based in in Portland Portland, yeah. So the west, basically along the northwest coast of America. So it was in quite a dark, moody. If you remember Twilight, how dark and moody it was meant to be, it was quite like that. So, but I enjoyed that kind of. That is my kind of.
See,
fantasy.
like, I'm a bit not funny with that kind of fantasy, but it's very hit and miss for me. Like, I can angels and like demons and devils and stuff. I don't know what it is. It's never like I've watched the first series of Lucifer, I think, when it came out, and it wasn't on Netflix, was it? Then it was somewhere else.
No, it was on Amazon Prime back then.
Okay,
but like it still is. So they've still owned 1 to 3.
But it's like how I can see it's good, but it's not for me. If that makes sense. Like I can tell it's well made and it's good, but I'm more like, for example, like how Game of Thrones was never for you. It's too fantastical. It's too, you know what I mean? It's not your vibe.
Well,
it's not your
for
bag.
For me, it was more just Game of Thrones was too bloody long.
That's what I love, though. I love super long stories.
Nah, I'm done with it, man. Done with it. I think I like things that are more based in the current times rather than like Game of Thrones was in this sort of mythical
which
way back
my
when,
bag.
And I just got bored of that straight away.
See, I'm dead weird. It's like anything that's like old world, medieval looking thing, put a bit of magic in it and I'm there. But it's very rare I'll watch anything that's set modern time. It's super rare.
I think that's where we're very much opposite, because I prefer to watch things that are set now.
Yeah, well, that is interesting though, because it's like, I suppose it's what you're into, but like there's very, very rare that I'll watch anything that's like modern, new looking. The setting,
so I used to love things like Charmed and stuff like that, which is very much about the now. You know,
I think I tried Charmed once, but it had been out for a while, and I think because I didn't have the nostalgia of it, and it hasn't aged particularly well because it was trying to do a lot.
It hasn't aged well, and also I think it hasn't aged well, both in terms of storylines and graphics and costume, and B, my God, did it end up getting a bit crap towards after Prue died. If you've not seen it, Prue dies, deal with it.
It's been 20 years, man, deal with it. I don't know who Prue is.
Basically,
It
has
one
been
of the
more
main
than 20
three
years,
died.
I think. Yeah, one of the original 3. And so, so if it got a bit shit after that when it was meant to be the power of 3 and it was 3 sisters, and then all of a sudden a 4th sister pops up after one dies, and it's like, really?
It's a power of 3 plus 4, but not one's got to go till we can get this other one in. Okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then they kept on adding people, and then there were like big kids involved. I'm like, this is bullshit, man. Yeah.
There was a show out, actually, because this is the thing, this is the loophole to modern stuff. If it's about witches, then I'm normally like, sign me up. I'm
like
here.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
That's the one I can't do. I really did.
What?
It was just, I think after the first 2 seasons were pretty good, but like it just got really like, how do I describe what I'm feeling? I don't know. It just felt just not very good anymore, and I couldn't work. There was just so much.
Wow.
I don't know, it just didn't feel like they were telling me stories. It felt like they were preaching stuff at me, and I'm like, I don't like that. Just tell me a story and change my mind via the storytelling.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I never got that, but then I guess I was only really, towards the sort of latter seasons when she went to college rather than when she was at school. It kind of went a bit shit for me just because I didn't like... It was very wholesome, don't get me wrong. And I get,
it felt really teenagery to me, and I was like, ugh.
But it was like, actually, people aren't that wholesome when they're at uni. People get drunk, they shag about, they do stupid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't for me. I felt like they were sacrificing stories to try to promote these things. I'm like, no, but use the story as the method to change people's mind, because that's the one thing I hate about storytelling sometimes, is when people want to preach something, which I'm all for, put messages in, positive.
Oh, are you talking about the modern Sabrina, or are you
the modern
about
one?
Real? I'm talking about the Melissa Joan Hart one.
No, I'm talking about the modern one.
So you're talking about the Dark Tales of Sabrina. I'm talking about
the original back in the day was like my jam.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Because they had this character in I don't want to say it wrong. I can't remember now, so a massive apology. Sorry. They were transgender or non-binary. I can't remember. So I'm just going to say
Are you talking about the modern one?
The modern one. So I'm just going to say they because I
I'm
can't
still
remember,
behind on this,
and I don't want to like upset people.
Okay.
But what I found they did with their storyline, instead of making it so you can say to people, like, you put them in the story and then you can change people's mind by making it a really interesting story about them, and you go, oh no, these are just people and this is why we should care and blah 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 whatever. It felt very like story message this is do this and it just felt like a bit it takes me out of the story, and I'm someone who is like, I want a good story above everything. Put good messages in, give moral lessons and all that, I'm for it, but don't spoon feed me a moral message. I don't like that. I find it very distracting in storytelling. People do that.
I think though, because it was made
for
it is an American show
as well, to be fair.
And yeah, but also don't forget the situation in America is pretty bad. With like all the politics going on around gender identity, women's rights, trans rights, all kinds of things going on in America, and I feel like perhaps they felt they had to put the message there and not leave it up to people to interpret.
No, because I think there's better ways to do the message, rather than they kind of alienated their character. Rather than making them feel like part of the group, they kind of felt a bit removed from the group because they were this whole separate thing, and I didn't like that. I thought it kind of dehumanized them in a way, which is what I didn't like as well.
Okay, I can't judge this because I've not seen. I'm so far behind. Again, that's one of the many series that I was watching with my husband, and he watched ahead on. So So yeah, but I guess for me, the only thing I can say is, like I said, with America, it was made for an American audience. I know they want it to go global, but it was made predominantly for an American audience from an American viewpoint. And perhaps that was something that they felt they needed to do in that way to make people sit up and actually take note of it.
But I think you can make people take note better when you make them care about a character than just make the character... Like, it's like they're just force feeding these bits of dialogue into their mouth, and it just didn't feel natural, and I think it takes away from the message they're trying to do. But anyway, I don't watch it anymore. I think it's over. I don't even know.
I have no idea. It's been that long. I think that's on Netflix, is it?
It lost me after like
long,
2 or 3 series. I was just like, I'm so done with that.
I watched the first season through to the end. I think I watched the first season through to the end, but the big problem I have with... And I appreciate most of the time Netflix has got every episode, but the big problem I have with American shows is they take this huge mid-season break, which for me is like, why not just end the fucking season and take a end of season break?
Yeah. I've watched a couple of American shows, and it's like you get like 12 episodes and then you have like a big break and have another 12. I'm like, just do me 24.
And then they class it as the same season. I'm like, no, why?
I suppose because it takes so long to film. It splits up the filming a bit, but still...
Yeah, but what's the point? I don't get it. That's like saying, okay, I'm going to do my degree and then I'm going to take 5 years off in between finishing my first year and my second year. What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
You've forgotten everything, you know?
Yeah.
I did take a year off between my first and second year, and that was long enough.
Yeah, and
Season 1 and season 2 were a bit too far apart for my university.
Yeah, and season 2 characters were way worse than season 1 characters.
Yeah, they were. I will admit that. Terrible.
I'm season 2.
Hated them all. Hate all of the season 2 characters from my university experience. I don't. I love you. Not really.
What?
What?
I was like,
what?
oh, no, okay, no. And give with one hand and slap in the face with the other. Thank you.
Hey, I'm just being more authentically me.
Yeah, be authentic, yeah. Be totally authentic.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my long ranty what's floating my boat. So let's go into yours, madam.
Okay, so what is floating my boat?
Wow, that was exciting.
I'm so excited about it. It's so good. It is called Attack on Titan. Yes, it is an anime, and I know you're gonna hate it because it's an anime.
Hate it. No, I don't hate it because it's anime. I hate it because it's another one of the things that my husband tried to.
Yeah, but you can't let him dictate.
Well, no, but anything that actually reminds me of his happiness makes me want to stab him in the eyeball.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, but tell me. I already know, but tell everyone else.
So the basic. I don't want to spoil anything because if people haven't watched it, it is such a treat. You must go and watch it. Please, I beg you, treat yourself. But the basic premise of it is people, like just human beings, have been trapped within these 3 walls. So the city that they live in has like an inner bit, there's a wall, and then there's the middle bit, and then there's another wall, and there's the outer bit, and there's another wall. So it's 3 sections of city. The richer you are, the further in you live. Outside the city are basically giant humans that eat people. They're massive. They've got no brain, kind of thing. They're just dumb monsters. But people have managed to stay alive because the walls are so high. And they've got these people called scouts that go out and try and get food and stuff. But it's generally they've been okay inside these walls. They just can't leave because they'll die if they go outside. And then at the start of the first episode, it's called the Colossal Titan, and basically it's taller than the walls and it kicks through the first wall. So all the people in the outer bit, the poorest people, then have to try and run to the middle section, and not all of them get through, and loads of people die because the Titans get in and they're just eating people, and it's just traumatizing, and it's so good. So good. I won't spoil any more than that, but it's...
How many seasons are
there?
There are
4 seasons. We are in the first half of season 4 now, and what they did in season 4... because I've not seen a show do this for a very long time, is get better with each passing season. Like season 1 is this sort of this story of like hope and like overcoming your challenges. Season 2 becomes a bit of like a horror. Is how season 2 scared me so much. There's one scene in season 2 which stays with me to this day as the most horrifying thing I've ever seen, and it's animated, and it really stuck with me of how horrible it was to like watch, and it has just scarred me for life.
Is that one where like the monsters are just basically chomping into people while they're still alive?
Yeah, but it's done so well. And then season 3 kind of goes into this more like you get the history of the world and what's going on and like secrets and everything. And then season 4 kind of is like this political thriller now, and I'm just...
Okay.
We have like a complete genre change. Characters, this is the thing though as well. Like for the other seasons, you're going, this is a good person, this is a bad person. I want the good people to win. Now I don't know who's good and who's bad. And there's people who are kind of bad, but I want them to live, and people that are good, and I kind of want them to go. And you don't know who morally you love, and there's just stuff happening, and you're like,
see, if this was live action, and also again, like, but if this was live action, I think I would actually really be into it, because not so much season 1 and 2, but season 3 and 4 sound so up my alley that it makes me sad that it's animated, because I just find it difficult to relate to animated things.
It's such a shame that you can't get over it, because Jesus Christ, it's one of, like, I would argue the best things I've seen in a while, because it's just like, I don't know the last show that every episode I watched was like, I'd either be crying because something happened, or you have to take 10 minutes off after because you're like, oh my God, every episode has just got better and better. Yes, the studio changed, so the animation style maybe not as good.
See, that would really, I couldn't watch that.
But the story is so good that you can look past that. But I think as well because they were given, I don't know what went on, but I think they had less time. But if you watch season 3, the Levi bit with Kenny, that's all I'll say, and you aren't impressed by how good that man is, I'm
just gonna say, I wish they would do not an American remake at all. I hate American remakes.
I think they have done a live action, but it's been it's such a hard thing to live action because it's so... Like, it's so hard to get people to look like Titans properly. It's a really tricky thing to...
Yeah, but you can have live action with a lot of CG, and I think when you look at films like, look at films like Harry Potter, look at, I was going to use Grimm, not Grimm, but you look at like fantasy things and look at something like Game of Thrones,
convinced
where
they've done a
dragons don't
Japanese
exist.
live action. I'm convinced of it. But I don't think it went down very well. Because I think
that's sad. That is sad, because I would have watched the live action version.
It's a shame you can't thingy because it's so good.
I know.
So if people out there have never watched anime in their lives, like, I get it. It's a bit of a... But you can watch it in dub. I know some people are super against dub, but I think it has its place. It kind of got me into anime. So
I will say, I do think dubbing has its place, but I do prefer subtitle. And I will watch Studio Ghibli films. This is the thing. I will happily watch a Studio Ghibli film, but an animated series, I just can't dedicate that amount of time to because I can't get as invested in it.
That's fair, which is, it's a fair comment to make. It's not for everyone, but
No, but then there's some people who are mad on anime.
Yeah.
Some people are also, like, the amount of people who absolutely love manga, but I cannot get my head around graphic novels.
Which is fair.
So, yeah, but, each to their own.
Yeah, just don't look at my bookcase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but some people hate prose as well. Some people really hate prose or huge novels, whereas I'm like, give me that bitch.
But if anybody
someone in
is
the
out
head
there
and
who's
damage
never
them.
seen a piece of anime in their life, I think the first series is on Netflix. I believe it's dubbed. If you don't want to watch subtitles, please, I'm begging. I'm begging you. Watch it. It was so funny at work the other day. I was just chatting to someone and they were like, so, do you like anime? And I was like, oh my God. And then we just had like a big half an hour discussion about Attack on Titan, both of us fangirling, and it was really nice. I think it was just so nice to have someone to talk to about it, because everyone I talk to about it at the minute just sort of looks at me and goes,
yeah, I think, though, it's weird that, like, you don't know that many people that are into it, because at one point it was like I had several people who were into anime of different kinds, and I think maybe I just attract more of that crowd.
Yeah,
I say that crowd, but more people who are openly into just more open-minded about what they watch, whereas I know I sound closed-minded about it, but I know for me that I just can't I can't. That's it, basically.
which is fair.
But yeah, so yeah, but it's good that you've got someone else who loves it with you.
Yeah.
I say this as a person who, what really gets me going, or not gets me going in a pervy way, but what I love watching and can watch for hours is a local estate agent, because we can do house viewings, but to reduce the amount of people going into house viewings, is now doing basically house viewings online where he presents them as if he's with a person, and I can sit and watch them. So you may think, oh, Adele hates anime, but Adele also has her own weird geeky shit that she loves, which is watching fucking house viewings online. So, so you go watch your Attack on Titans. It's far more normal than spending 3 hours just looking around other people's houses.
Yeah, probably is a little bit more normal, maybe.
Yeah, see? So,
and also,
hopefully that
one last thing that I found last night. I just came into my head then, and I got really excited by it. There's a website called World of Books.
Is it a dodgy one?
No.
World of Books is great.
Well, I didn't know about it. I know, because I was looking to buy this book and I was like, God, it's so expensive everywhere. And I saw it on here for like $5, and I was like, damn, how do they do this? And it's pre-owned books, isn't it? And they try. Well, some are new, but I think most are pre-owned.
Most are pre-owned though, yeah.
Which, for anyone else who's wanting to and they do have like manga and light novels and stuff like that on there. I was quite impressed by that. So, if anyone's into that jive,
World of Books is awesome.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of my uni books from World of Books because it was cheaper.
And it was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why have I never found this before? Because I think I liked book people. They were my one before that I would go to all the time, but they have sadly closed because of the Rona.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I used to have the thingy, the newsletter, but they're gone now. So that's sad.
Okay, that is sad.
So I was like, I need a new book place to buy stuff.
There is for anyone who loves actually going into bookstores but hasn't been able to or still can't because of the Rona, if you're still in an area that's got massive restrictions, or your bookshop just isn't able to reopen at the moment. You can actually like there's I've forgotten what it's called, this website, and it basically hooks you up. Like you go on, you search for your local area, and it hooks you up with books directly from the bookstore, without the bookstore having to have their own website. And it's really cool because you can basically pick, even if it's not your local bookstore, if it's like the local bookstore you grew up near or whatever, if they've managed to survive, and you can basically go on. It started in America, but I think it is now fully optional over here. Yeah, it's called Bookshop. And you basically go on. It's got loads of booksellers all over the UK. And it hooks you up with local bookstores to send you your books instead of just buying them from Amazon. So if you're someone who's very anti-Amazon or huge corporation, bookshop.org, it's a place to go and get, like, books. Okay, they're not massively discounted, but you're supporting local independent businesses, which is really cool. So I just thought I'd mention that, seeing as you were on about finding world of books. There is also bookshop.org out there for people who want to support.
And we are not sponsored by anybody. So when we say these things, we do mean it. We're not just saying...
Yeah, no, I think it's such a beautiful thing, because I know where I live, I grew up with a huge bookstore. It was independent, and it'd been there for over 100 years. And like, not because of the Rona, it actually closed about 5 or 6 years ago. And it was like the saddest thing, because that was my favourite place to just go and while away an afternoon in this massive bookstore that smelled beautifully of wood, like proper mahogany bookshelves.
That's like one of my favourite smells, is old musty wood. There's a place.
It was just gorgeous.
That when the Rona is calming down a bit and we're allowed to meet again, I want to take you to, and it's this old bookshop, and it's pretty big.
Where is it? Is it local or not?
No, we'll have to go drive for a bit. I forget the name of the place, but we'll go.
See, I think you'd like, there's somewhere up in the Peak District.
If it's a bookshop,
it's a massive discount bookstore, and it's got a cafe, which is quite nice.
Oh, I'm there.
So we could.
You know where's good as well, if we ever do get away. People listening to this going, God, these two are so boring and annoying. York, my dude. Geeks. York is such a good time.
I love York. I do love York. I like going around the little streets where like Mulberry and everything is. And yeah, I love York. It's a good time. Although, don't go in flood season, because clearly...
Well, it doesn't sound like a good time to go, to be fair.
No, it's not a good time.
Where should I go to York? Oh, I think flood season's... It's beautiful that time of year. Really beautiful.
Yeah, it's like going to Tewkesbury in flood season. Don't do it, kids.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there.
Well, when I went York... This is kind of funny. When I went York, I went with a family member and dragged them to all the museums. They were not keen, but we went.
Oh, museums are the best, though.
If you ever want...
We're such nerds.
Oh my God,
we're such nerds.
People are like...
Museums.
If people are like, oh my God, what are these two girls like in real life and stuff?
We're nerds.
Just imagine like a 60-year-old woman and then put them in a young person's body. That's what we are.
I'm not even in a young person's body. I'm nearly 40. You know, I've got 2 more years till I'm 40. So I'm in a sort of semi-middle-aged body.
Okay, in a young person's body and a semi-middle-aged body.
Yeah.
We're here. Hello. Nice to make your acquaintance.
Yeah.
And also, again, no one has seen the anime, so no one's going to get the reference. But I have my hair in a bun today, and I'm looking at myself in the camera, and I'm like, I really look like Annie today.
Who's Annie?
She's one of the girls in the show.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture after. But for anyone who wonders what I look like, picture Annie. That's my face.
It's weird because you've got your hair in a bun. I've tried to tie my hair up and no one else will see this. But Dani, can you see how much hair I've got to tie up?
It's like one of them little, them dogs with really short tails.
It's not even as big as that. It's like, when a cockatoo's got like a tiniest bit of fluff on top of its head, not its actual tail.
I'm more impressed by the fact you've managed it than anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm impressed that I've managed it. I'll pull my hair down because it's still slightly wet from the shower.
Oh, shake it off.
It's very, very short right now. It's very much a mess from the shower and wet.
Well, anyway, I was in York with this family member, and we're going around all the places, and we walk into. They have these like towers, and one's like the Tower of Henry VII, and one's the Tower of Richard III, because that was like the Battle of Bosworth. For all you history nerds out there, this is the end of the War of the Roses and the start of the Tudor dynasty. Thank you. So that's sort of context of history, and I'm really into that. So we were going around all those places, and you walk into this bit, and there's like a gift shop, and then you go up and you come back through the gift shop. And the person there, this man, was so I said, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" But he's like directing it at this other person I'm with because they're older than me, and sort of going, "Oh yeah, so you're here for this and here for that." Obviously ignoring me because they think, "Why are you here?" And then they just tut and go, "They're not here for me. She wants she's the one interested." So then he starts chatting to me, and long story short, he tells me about at the end of in about May or something, or March, they do like a Viking thing through the streets, and everybody dresses up like Vikings. He's like, "Oh, if you ever come back to York, come then. It sounds like you'll really enjoy it." And they're just slowly edging towards the door, just like looking at me going, "Please, I'm not coming back for the Viking thing. I'm not dressing up." I was like, "Yeah, I can get a beard on. Like, can ladies do it?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can dress as a lady or a man or whatever. Just come on." And I'm like, "This sounds ace." But yeah.
Have you watched the TV show Vikings? Because that sounds like it should be right up your
It should
alley.
be, and it probably will be, but people have told me season 1 isn't very good, and then it warms up.
Yeah, I will say that because my mum's a massive fan, and I watched a couple of episodes of season 1. I was like, "What on earth is this bullshit?" And then I saw some later episodes because my dog really likes it, which is fucking weird. But my dog loves anything with like filthy sex in, so she'd love Game of Thrones. She was used for breeding before she came to the rescue, and then to me. So is it ever likely? Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna gloss over it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, all I can say is that dog wouldn't watch anything on TV. Won't stay in when the TV's on unless it's something like 50 Shades of Grey. So
Filth.
Which is not really that filthy, to be fair. It's boring. But anyway. So Vikings, I think you should just get past season 1.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have a real good time.
But that's the thing, there's loads of stuff I'm watching at the minute which I'm really enjoying, so I'm like, do I want to sit and watch something that I'm not going to enjoy for a season to find something that I will enjoy later? And there's so many that have come out now, and I'm just like...
I will say that it is like, when you've got that much to watch, why watch something that you're not fully going to engage with for the first season? However, I do think it will be worth it in the long run. Once you've got a bit of spare time, like if you get sick or something, you've got loads of time. Sit in bed watching Netflix.
Yeah.
I think it's on Amazon Prime though, so don't watch Netflix.
I can't find it anywhere.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Well, also I need to watch. This episode is gonna be called "What We Need to Watch."
Yeah, basically it is. Everything at the moment is exactly
American Gods season 3 has come out, but I finished.
But it hasn't got
my main boy, and I know he wasn't in
got
this
my
section of the book,
love.
but I don't understand why he's been fired because he was so good. Mr. Nancy.
Yes, Mr. Bloody Nancy, the beautiful man.
The basic concept of the show, for anyone that doesn't know, it's like modern times, but this guy called Shadow meets gods, and like gods are like people basically, and they only really get power if people believe in him. So if like the old gods like
so good.
Thor, Odin,
get on it,
all that kind of stuff.
But then there's new gods as well, like media and social media.
That's who we pray to now. We pray to money, and we pray to television and
technology,
and so they're having like a fight. And it's a Neil Gaiman story. My main man, my Mr. Gaiman. We love him. And it's...
We do.
Season 1 and 2 were really good. And Mr. Nancy especially, I believe he's a spider trickster god, an African god?
He is. He is the god Nancy. Nancy is a god in itself. He is a trickster god.
Like
beautiful.
A bit like a Loki kind of figure, if for context. Like a trickster.
Okay.
Trickster god.
Okay.
But that's not the same. But just for people who have never even considered, it's like a trickster god.
I will say this: it's kind of heartbreaking. I know he isn't in that part of the book, but Orlando Jones, who played Anansi, he is. I've read American Gods. I've also read Anansi Boys, which is like it's a separate book that follows on for Anansi and his sons. And I've read both those books, so I had a very clear picture in my mind of who or how I thought Anansi should look in his human form.
Yeah,
and
they don't marry up, do they, at all? But it works.
Not at all, but it works. And he works. He is the most charming, even in his like social media posts where, you know, he's himself, he just has this charisma. I can't say that word. I can't speak. Charisma. He just has this charisma that feels like it flows through Anansi naturally for him as an actor to do. Oh my God, it's just... So I'm kind of heartbroken that he's not in it.
Is he? Because I heard he was fired, and I'm like, well, he's coming back for season 4 because he's a really key part of the book.
Is he though?
Well, I heard he was fired.
Because I heard he was fired. Well, what I heard and what I read on his social media post about the issue and was that he hadn't been told he wasn't coming back for season 3. He found out through not receiving a script, through other people, that they were going to start filming, and he hadn't been given any dates. So no one had actually discussed that. And I think the fact that he opened his mouth and openly said about that led to him no longer being part of the series. So I can't speak on it because I'm not part of it. But it is a little bit shady to not discuss with someone that they might not appear in season 3, but would they like to come back for season 4? Because that's your job at the end of the day. If you're not contracted to come back, you assume you've been fired.
Well, anyway.
You know, it's like my job telling me not to come back for 3-4 weeks and then expecting me to come back on the 5th week. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I need to watch that. And I've got a mountain of books staring at me that I need to read. Oh my God, what first world problems we do have.
We do. And I have to say, we're quite lucky though that these are our only first world problems, because, you know, there's a lot of really sad things. And this week is the day we're recording this is Prince Philip's funeral.
Yes, it is.
Well, and also yesterday, very sadly, the beautiful, wonderful actress Helen McCrory died, which is heartbreaking because she was so bloody young and so talented.
Ridiculous.
Unbelievably.
She was amazing in Peaky Blinders. That's the only thing I've ever properly watched.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it, but I have a slight story to tell about Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
It's not about Peaky. So I can remember I was in London, and this is part of why it's so sad for me that she's passed away at such a young age, because her husband, Damian Lewis, like, I know there are a lot of celebrity couples or actors and couples and they split or whatever. He genuinely doted on her. So I'm feeling so sad for him right now as a fellow ginger. I'm feeling so freaking sad because I can remember I was on the tube and Damian Lewis was also on we did the exact same journey on the tube that day. For whatever reason, I know I was in London, it was Halloween, so I was going out somewhere, but he was going shopping he was doing costume shopping for a play, so he was with the head costume person from the theatre, and he was talking, I was listening in, because when you see Damian Lewis on the tube, you're going to listen into what he's talking about, you know?
What's he from, just so people, if they don't know his name?
I can't even remember, like, he's done loads, but he's done loads, but I can't remember. I remember he was in something.
Wow.
Was
it Homeland? Was he in Homeland?
Yes, that's the one. I've never watched that, but I've watched I just think he's a beautiful man because I like a ginge. It can't be helped. But in real life, not so much. He's too skinny in real life. Very, very skinny.
Sound picky.
Not my... Yeah, I'm not. Anyway, so when you see Damian Lewis in real life, on a tube in particular, you're going to listen in. You're going to be nosy about that conversation, because this was at the time when Homeland was huge. He'd finished filming it, but it was still freaking huge. And so I started listening in. And, like, at first they were just talking about what they needed to buy for whatever play he was in over here. I can't even remember what play it was at the West End that they were, you know, buying clothes for. And then he started talking about his wife. And at the time, I didn't know he was married to Helen McCrory because I only knew he was Damian Lewis and knew nothing else about him. And he, like, you know, when people... He was speaking about the most mundane thing, and it was just basically telling the costume lady that he was out with about how his wife was going through, like, having to do all the costume stuff for her current TV show that was in pre-production, and how it was all period and everything like that, and he was, you know, how complicated it was. And it was like the most mundane thing to talk about, but when you heard him speak about his wife, it was with so much love. It's like, I can't even describe how just talking about the plain thing of shopping for clothes, but talking about it about his wife and how much love got conveyed in that one conversation. And it was just so beautiful. But anyway, 6 months later, turns out that the the actual conversation that I was listening into about the costume shopping for his wife was the costumes for Peaky Blinders.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, my long convoluted story about how I heard about the costume shopping for Peaky Blinders before anyone even knew Peaky Blinders was a thing.
Yeah.
Because I stalked Damian Lewis for a day. I didn't. We literally just did the same journey and got off the tube at the same stop and walked up the stairs.
At the same place and then the same theatre, and then I went
Well,
into his
no,
dressing room.
he-
Sorry, no.
No, as we went, as I came up the stairs to get out the tube, he turned left, I turned right. I was not tempted to follow him because... No, we never have, but you know, it's London. You never really see people again.
Whoa. That's hashtag deep, bro. You know what that needs? That
It's
needs to be
very- it's
written
weird.
on like one of those Instagram things where it's like a picture of like the city, but it's all like in a beautiful filter and a bit blurry. And London, people never meet
Yeah.
again.
Except for if you're in Camden Market and then you'll see the same crazy guy asking you to marry him every single time you go because he works there. That happened.
Wow.
Yeah, every time. Same guy. Doesn't recognise me. Still asks me to marry him every time.
Every time.
Don't know why. He probably asked every woman to marry him, but while I was there, it was very specifically me that was targeted. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. Don't want to.
Not today.
Even before I was married, didn't want to marry him. Just there for some shopping, you know. That's all I was doing. Bit of shopping. Trying to buy a coat.
Just try and buy a nice coat.
Yeah, just trying to buy a coat. Didn't want to marry anyone. Sad times. I wonder if he is married though. This is random now, but I do wonder if that man in Camden Market who constantly asked me to marry him, is he married already? Is he?
We'll never
What's his
know.
wife think of that? I might ask him next time.
Next time you
I
go.
might go down there and ask him. Yeah. He might be dead now. He was quite a lot older than me. I say quite a lot. He was only in his 40s when I was in my 20s, but he might be dead now.
Honest to God, I don't know what this podcast this week has been. This has been the weirdest episode. I think
It
we've been in an
has,
odd
yeah.
mood. An odd.
Yeah. Well, I know my eyes are stinging from my new
Oh my
moisturiser,
God.
so that's a
Every
fun
time you and me speak, this is like some insight into our lives. Every time we speak, I
Yeah.
have to hear about these eyes being watery
Well,
and
because
sting. Everything you put on your face
They're
stings your eyes.
sensitive. Yeah, my eyes also. It's also allergy season, so you know, shout out to any other hay fever sufferers. It's allergy season,
Ooh,
so
to all them hay
we're
fever
not
sufferers in the back.
Yeah. We're not having a
Yeah.
good time right now. No matter how many antihistamines we take, just not having a fucking good time.
Wow,
That's all I can say. That's all.
that's all we've got. Well then,
Well,
say sorry?
It is all we've got.
should we say so?
No, I'm not apologising for anything.
I apologise on the
Oh.
behalf of me and Adele, or Adele and I, should I say,
Thanks.
in proper English.
I want to say thank you for anyone who managed to get through this
Thank
mess
you.
of mess of a podcast.
And if you do
today.
watch Attack on Titan and just want to message us on Twitter or Instagram or anything, I'll probably talk to you about it, to be fair.
Yeah, she probably will.
don't-
Don't make eye contact.
Don't
with
engage. The inner nerd comes out. I'm like, well, if you noticed, actually, the character development in from season 2 to season 3 was very, very good. Yeah, basically, I'm that
Yeah.
person. Because I love it. So sorry for what you've had to endure.
Yay, and thank you for sticking with us. We do appreciate you.
No, I don't, but
Sometimes.
bye.
Wow. You know the song we did in voice.
Daffodils, I like the mountains, I like the rolling
I
hills.
like the rolling hills. I like the rolling hills.
Oh yeah,
That's
I like
my
the
hero's
rolling
house.
hills.
That's
I like
rolling
the.
hills.
What's the next? Stand by the
Fireside down when the lights
do up, do up, oh. These were a room of fully grown adults 20 years and above singing a doo wop, a doo wop.